Yes, Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman from Texas. She is galactically stupid. We already knew that. But this whole Jeffrey Epstein snafu mistake, whatever you want to call it, that was not a mistake. It was not a snafu. It was 100% intentional. I'm going to play it for you here shortly. This is where she's talking about how Republicans were taking money from Jeffrey Epstein, and then it was revealed later that, oh my gosh, wrong Jeffrey Epstein. This is Dr. Jeffrey Epstein from New York, who has nothing to do with the famed dead pedophile, allegedly dead pedophile. But and everybody's like, "Oh, she's so stupid. She's so stupid." This was not stupidity. This was absolutely intentional. Okay, and this is pulling straight out of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Pay close attention to just the how she frames it, the first 5 seconds, and then I think that you will agree with me.
Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly: Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Zeldin, George Bush, WinRed, McCain-Palin, Rick Lazio. I just want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm sure that you caught that, but just in case, notice that she said took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, and that she had her team, her colleagues, look into it quickly. So she's already setting it up for the quote-unquote mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. Not at all. As I posted over at Patriot.tv, yes, she's galactically stupid, but the mistake was intentional. Democrats have a playbook, and it's getting worn out from overuse. Their playbook is this: smear, distract, and hope that the mud sticks long enough to sway the gullible. And the gullible, of course, is their base. Enter Representative Jasmine Crockett, the Texas Democrat who took to the House floor with a list of Republicans she accused of pocketing cash from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, she said. And you heard what she said. Of course, EPA Administrator Zeldin fired back on X. He said, yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who was a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, donated to a prior campaign. No freaking relation, you genius. Again, they're framing her as stupid. And he's not the only one. Everybody is. I've pretty much every single conservative outlet out there that's talking about this says, oh, she's so dumb, she's so stupid, she's so dumb. No, she is. But this wasn't an example of that. This was an example of her and her team believing that their base is dumb, counting on her base being dumb, and they are. Back to the article. On the surface, this looks like another Crockett blunder, the kind that has President Trump labeling her a very low IQ person, which she is. But dig a little deeper, and it's clear this wasn't some innocent mix-up between a notorious sex offender and an unrelated New York doctor. No, this was calculated. Crockett, or her handlers, knew exactly what they were doing, dropping the Epstein name into the ether, tying it to Republicans, and letting the implication fester in the minds of their base. They count on low information voters to hear Epstein and Republican donations in the same breath, embedding a false narrative that paints Trump allies as tainted by association. Facts be damned, the damage is done the moment the words leave her mouth. And no, her base of other Democrats, other socialists, other idiots are not there going to Breitbart or Discern Report or wherever and learning the truth. They heard that. That's all they hear. And it's stuck. It sticks in her mind. Or in their minds. Sorry. This tactic isn't new. It's straight out of Alinsky's rules. Accuse your opponent of what you're guilty of, or in this case, fabricate connections to infamous figures to erode trust. Crockett's stunt came amid her push to probe alleged efforts by the DOJ and the FBI to hide Trump's supposed ties to Epstein, as detailed in her recent letter demanding answers. She's been all over cable news questioning Trump's sudden support for releasing the Epstein files, calling it a ploy to bury them later. But when CNN fact-checked her live on air for trying to... Are we going to play it? No, we're not going to play that. To trying to smear Trump over those docs, she crumbled, exposing the hollowness of her claims. I really actually should play that because it is pretty bad. She wasn't expecting to get any pushback at all from legacy media, especially CNN. Why the charade? Because in the Democrats' world, truth is optional if it serves the greater goal of clinging to power. By invoking the wrong Epstein, deliberately, they paint seeds of doubt that grow into full-blown conspiracy theories among their followers. Never mind that the real Epstein's web ensnared plenty on the left, mostly on the left. The goal is to keep the spotlight off their own skeletons while demonizing anyone who dares to drain the swamp. Zeldin, a battle-tested, yada, 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 yeah. So yeah, you can read the rest of that article over at patriot.tv. It's also at discern.tv, by the way. But yeah, this is again straight out of Alinsky's rules for radicals. This is what they do. They knew. Again, she said somebody named Jeffrey Epstein. They knew exactly that it wasn't the same Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, they knew. And she said, "Oh, my team went through quickly and tried to get this out there. That's the excuse they're setting up for in case anybody, and they won't, but just in case somebody in legacy media asks her what she thought, she'll be able to say, look, it was right after the vote. We were going through. We saw that. We've got it out there. But here's the real point. The real point is that Donald Trump and the Republicans and blah, blah, that's what they'll do. And they'll be dismissed. Nobody's going to call her out for it. Nobody outside of the conservative media echo chamber. So, if you have any leftist friends, any leftist relatives, number one, I feel bad for you. Number two, let them know, especially, did you, just ask them, hey, did you hear what Jasmine Crockett said about Jeffrey Epstein donations? And they'll probably say no. It's like, oh, then that's good. But if they say yes, then tell them, that's fake, right? And they're like, what? Whatever. Yeah, oh, yeah, of course you'd say that. No, seriously. There was a Dr. Jeffrey Epstein in New York that donated. She knew that. Here, let me send you this video by JD Rucker that'll explain it all. And if you're one of those people that was sent this video and you're on the left, number one, hi, welcome. Come to the right side, and here's the real message, the real takeaway from all of this. People like Jasmine Crockett. And I would say 70, 80% of Democrat lawmakers in D.C. and even at the state level, they thrive on ignorance. They can only get their message out if it's a lie. I'm not saying that everything they say is a lie. I'm saying their overall messaging is built upon lies. And they're dependent on your ignorance. So be informed. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to go watch Fox News or read the Epoch Times or go to the libertydaily.com. Just do your own fact checking on your own if you have to. Because the last thing we need is a whole bunch of people in America believing that people like Jasmine Crockett are actually right.